is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode.
Are we unmuted?
Decom Descendants. We're
Decom
doing
Descendants,
it.
we're back, everybody.
Yeah,
How
we
are
are.
you?
Yeah.
Another Friday's here.
Is it
Another
time
Friday's
for the Decom
here.
Daily Minute?
It's coming.
It's
coming.
coming.
Listen.
Brand talks about, you guys think that's a bit for the show. Brand talks about the Decom Daily Minute to me more than I want him to. And I've been kind in like entertaining it. But I also am like, just stop.
No. I won't stop. Can't stop,
won't stop.
We got any new reviews?
We have a new rating because
Okay.
we're up to 152, but
Okay.
they did not leave a review.
Well, I think
We'll take it.
they were so excited about the potential of the
Yeah.
Decom Daily
Yeah.
Minute, and then when they found out that it's not a thing yet, they just left a rating.
and it was
not the
clearly
review.
a 5-star because we're still at 4.9. You know, we have what appears to be 1 4-star,
Yeah.
1 2-star, and 2 5-stars. Or in 2 1-stars, and
Oh.
all the rest 5-stars.
2 1-stars.
Yeah.
Guys.
So I believe we have 148 5-star ratings.
How about that?
And we have 4 non-5-star.
Look
ratings.
at us, haters.
Haters in the building.
We're talking about Stuck in the Suburbs.
And I'm
today.
pretty sure it's Ryder Strong and Sabrina. What's her name? Kyle Carpenter. What's who also the magical? Is it her name Sabrina something?
Sabrina Bryan.
Oh.
Sabrina Bryan.
And it's not Ryder Strong. It's Will Friedle.
Will
You got
Friedle.
all the names wrong that you could
Ryder
have.
Strong
Now,
and Danielle
Sabrina-
Fishel.
Now, Sabrina Carpenter was on Girl Meets World. So, I mean, I see how you got there.
Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Maya, good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her doing stuff.
See, this is the stuff you would find out
In the Decom-
in the Decom Daily
I
Minute.
think you just skated right over that. I think everybody knew that but me. Good for
No,
Sabrina
if-
Carpenter.
I would have talked about Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Bryan.
Bryan hasn't really done much.
No.
Sabrina Carpenter's Grammy win and stuff.
I didn't know that was her. I didn't know it was her, and I'm thrilled for her. Good for her.
Sabrina Carpenter, was she ever in a proper decom or just Girl Meets World? Do you know the answer to that?
I have never heard of Sabrina Carpenter.
Believe it or not, I wasn't talking to you, Dan. I was talking to Aaron.
Was she?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think she pretty much, after Girl Meets World was canceled, just went right into
Right in the music.
being the badass
I've
that she is.
never heard a Sabrina Carpenter song. Never heard one.
Mm,
But I've seen about every episode of Girl Meets World because when you love Boy Meets World, you watched it for all the reasons
Yes.
that like every episode I'd be like, this is stupid. And then I would just keep watching it because it's
Same.
like Corey and Topanga are going to be there. Sean may show up.
Angela showed up at one point.
Angela
Like,
showed up.
Yeah. You would watch it for those small little cameos.
Yeah.
Plays with Squirrels showed up.
It was not a great.
It was not a great television show.
Well, because the thing I hate about reboots is they were like remaking Boy Meets World, but not for the fans who love Boy Meets
Yeah.
World, for their kids. And it's like, no, I'm 30
Please
and
give me
I want
more.
to
Of,
watch.
but also, I think the reason did it get canceled because Michael Jacobs was trying to make it a thing where, like, you know, Boy Meets World was allowed for Corey and them to grow up. So the show
Yeah.
started very kid friendly and then tackled some subjects
Yeah.
that were not as kid friendly.
Some episodes that aren't even aired anymore. You can only get them if you own the DVD.
Yeah. And so I think Michael Jacobs wanted that trajectory with Girl Meets World. Like it starts off a little more kiddie and then as they grow older, it gets more serious. And Disney was like, no, that's not our bit. We do kids forever. Like that's the thing. They're
Yeah.
always
I mean, it's
there.
why we never got the Lizzie McGuire reboot, is
Mm.
because they were like specifically
We're all-
making
That doesn't make like that was for Hulu. It's not like it was for Disney Channel. It didn't make any sense.
No, it was for Disney.
They were gonna make it for Disney Channel. I thought they were making it for Hulu.
No, they were making it for Disney, and Hillary
Same
and
thing, right, guys? Disney,
No.
Hulu,
Well-
ESPN.
No.
well,
Okay.
more like an older crowd TV shows, those go on Hulu, but they were specifically making it for Disney, and they wanted it to be for the original fans of Lizzie McGuire who were in their 30s. You know, Hillary wanted to show Lizzie as a 30-year-old woman trying to figure everything out, and Disney was like, nope, this isn't for our platform. And so then there was a huge push. Well, then just put it on Hulu because like Love Victor's on Hulu. Like, you know, Disney has
Right.
Older
have a
shows
thing.
on Hulu, and Disney just said, you will never see this reboot.
Which is why Disney Plus, you can now find Deadpool versus Wolverine on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Which, you know, easy access for my children, to see, but
Hey,
not a Lizzie McGuire reboot.
I just watched an interview with Ryan Reynolds last night where he says that he made Deadpool 1, 2, and 3 for his kids. So kid friendly.
Well, there you go.
Maybe when they're grown.
He made them for the
And
kids.
for context, it was an interview about the movie If. And
course.
the reporter was giving him a hard time because John Krasinski made If for his kids. And they said, Ryan, what have you done for your
Classic.
kids?
That's right.
Classic.
But
That's
it's a
exactly
kid-friendly
right.
movie, according to Ryan and Disney. So
If by
There you go.
for his kids he means like their college fund, then yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah, easy.
absolutely. And it's it.
Easy money.
I mean, you let your kids watch Deadpool
every day.
every
on a
day.
loop.
That's how they wake up.
It's time for
Wake
the
up
delish.
watching Deadpool before you go to school.
We're talking stuck in the
Start that day
suburbs.
right.
Stuck in the suburbs today. Delish.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the first DCO? Yeah,
Well,
Delish.
the D's for Daily
Decom.
Minute and
and for
Decom
Daily
Daily
Minute
Minute.
and for Delish. Got it.
What do we have today, Aaron?
yeah. So today there's a scene in the movie where she does a great job getting Jordan to sing at her mom's rally
Yes.
to save a house. And they treat her to a banana split Sunday.
Yeah.
A
A
giant.
ginormous banana split.
Like,
the three
bigger
of
than
these
her
plates
head.
together, not even close
No,
to
no, no.
covering it.
But I wasn't sure if we wanted to tackle, this.
That big of
we
a
might
split?
have been recording this early in the morning.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if anyone was going
No.
to join me in eating a giant banana split.
No. I'm going to take one bite of this
Yeah,
as a courtesy
so
for you making
I
it.
made it's like a banana split cake.
Ooh.
So
Real bananas in there? Or you just
real
got like-
bananas,
okay.
real strawberries.
All right. Okay.
My piece has pineapple, but
Potassium in
yours
there.
doesn't.
So what's the cake
Graham-
part of this? It's good.
There's no cake.
Oh, okay.
It's just layered with fruit, so you're going to
Yeah.
love it, Brent.
Yeah,
Just whole ingredients. There's
graham
no...
cracker crust.
All right,
banana
here we go.
strawberries.
Yeah. Yeah. That's way better than I was expecting it to be with just whole fruits in it. I'm in. Bran couldn't be more out. He just drank half a bottle of water.
Love you though, Aaron.
Man, I love it. If it wasn't 9 a.m, I'd eat the whole thing immediately. Man,
You only decom once a week. So
you only decom once. a
I
week.
don't know what you want to do with that. Good call, Aaron. And this seems easy to make.
Yeah, it
Easy.
took me less than half an hour.
Well, there you go.
There's no baking involved.
No bacon.
Yeah, it's a no bake. It's a
There
no
you go.
bake situation.
It's a no bake.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to tackle a full, I don't know, house-sized banana split by yourself, like the lead in Stuck in the Suburbs does, this is a great alternative. Brought to you by Aaron. Great job, Aaron.
Brought to you by Aaron.
That's right. Brought to you in part
Yes.
by viewers and listeners and Aaron. Let's do this, shall we? Let's take a break.
I love that.
Let's take
I
a
love
break.
that
We'll
for
come
us.
back and
Yeah.
we'll.
You faded that out so hard.
Well, I know I did. I don't know what happened.
You just went
I
so
did
hard.
a standard,
You just went
move,
wham.
but it maybe it was just the right time. Anyway, we'll be right back. Decom Descendants.
Decom
Stuck in the
Descendants.
Suburbs. So I think if we get to 153 reviews, we do Decom Daily Minute.
And I'm not
And
in
then
on
300.
that at any, but 300 is when we have to watch the ones that aren't decoms. We're
Correct.
done after the decoms unless we get to 300. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're not doing those extra
Why are you
boys.
so negative about
I'm
that?
not negative. I
He
feel
has
like
no hope and no
we've
dreams
gained
and no.
cultivated a solid audience for this program. We've done the bit where it grows when people find it. Now we have them. I think they're going to stick around. I think they're wonderful people. The reviews are great. 300. 300's a different. That's a different. Tier, different echelon.
Echelon.
Yep.
Stuck in the Suburbs, July 16th, 2004, summer of
Classic
04.
summer movie.
It is.
Summer of 04.
Yeah.
So you're 12.
Yeah.
You're 14. You guys are you guys
I
starting?
was 13 at this point.
13? I'm sorry, about to be
July.
14. Yeah, that's right. About to be 14.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, I watched this movie.
Watched it live.
Yeah.
Right in your wheelhouse.
Right in my
Watched it live? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Written by
Stu Krieger?
the Engelberg family, Amy and Wendy. They
You
put
remember
their
them on
heads
the
together.
credits? The first 5 minutes of this movie is
Oh
all
yeah,
Engelbert.
that's right.
It's
Engelbert?
all
That's right.
it's all
A lot of-
Engelbergs.
yeah.
And then they brought in Daniel Berenson.
The Berenstein
to-
Berenson.
to help out with the
Punch it
script
up.
a little bit. Directed
Yeah,
by
punch it up.
Savage Steve Holland.
Savage?
Savage Steve Holland. Why?
Macho Man directed this?
Why does he have a savage in front
I
of
don't
his
know.
name?
They call me savage.
I don't know. Not to be confused with Steve Holland, the writer. So maybe he did this just for fun for himself. But
it's a weird nickname he got in like a writer's room one day, and then he just kept calling himself Savage.
But I love that on Wikipedia here, it doesn't do the like here's his real name and then like nickname. It's just he's Savage Steve Holland. He was born in 1960. You need to know that.
Yeah, he wrote that Wikipedia page.
He definitely did. He's done a bunch of programs for children. He manages his own studio, Savage Studios, which directs shows for Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. So he's still in the game.
Savage.
Still going after it. Starring Danielle Panabaker.
That's right.
Brenda Song.
Couple of heavy hitters here.
Taron Killam.
Taron Killam.
From SNL fame.
I watched him last night on High Potential.
Well,
Had
there
a
you go.
much bigger role in last night's episode, or the one that I watched last night, than he usually does in the show.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Something for me to look forward to tonight.
He seemed like he actually had a character. Like normally it's just like he shows up. He's not acting. And in this one, he has an actual thing that happens. So there's that.
He gets murdered?
He does not get murdered. But no, he's still doing the thing he always does, but there's a lot more screen time for him. I know you care,
Taryn.
Brand, but we care.
Yeah, no, I
care a
care.
lot.
I care that you guys care.
It's a great show.
The movie kicks off with a pop song by the biggest star in the world, Jordan Cahill.
Of course.
He is the hot new thing out there in regards to the pop music. We get some fun, like flashy graphics, magazine covers showing that Jordan Cahill is indeed pop sensation. And it cuts to the inside of a van with Brittany and her soccer friends, soccer mom driving them home.
And the mom is like ready to just jump out a window.
Because they're like talking.
All the houses look the same.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't
She's
know.
trying to figure out the right house.
It was a really weird bit to start this movie.
Yeah, it is like she looks like she is in full midlife crisis mode.
Yes.
Like this is all there is. There's nothing else. all the houses look the same. Life is meaningless. Like she's just deep.
And they
in it
don't
right
really
now.
dive deeper into that.
That's it. It's just like, oh, the kids are funny again.
Yeah, the kids are funny again. So
I don't really remember a lot of cars from 2004, but was there a minivan that had 4 across?
I thought it was Chevy. I thought that was a Chevy Suburban. I didn't think it was a minivan. I thought she was in a Suburban, and that's
Maybe.
why she had so much room in there.
I saw minivan, but when I see minivan, you see
But
Suburban.
it very well no. But it later when they all leave the house at the same time, it's definitely a minivan.
Okay.
So that scene that you see twice in this movie with the red like a maroon car and like a Chevy logo on the front, I kind of thought that was a Suburban, but that's not the van.
But that would have
now
4
I have thoughts because the van in
Now
her
he has
driveway
thoughts.
is a different color.
different car, different mom.
it's
Different mom.
different.
Different mom. Okay, so yeah.
The
so
red
then
car
it
is not Danielle's
The red
mom.
car is a Suburban then, and then Daniel's mom drives a van. I'm pretty confident.
Let's
We
I'm
cracked it. We did it.
We can do it. Good, keep going. I'll look it up on the D plus.
So you're saying
big deal.
on the D plus.
On the D plus for DCOM.
Yeah, it's interesting that this movie starts off with not Brittany's mom. Like
that is a little bit of a
It's,
that's
it's
why
a
we don't get the
different-
midlife crisis.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah,
she is all movies. She's
Yeah.
really just
That
in a
movie's
dark
coming out
corner
next
somewhere.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to go to
That's
Hulu
right,
though.
yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah,
I had
it's
to go
directed
to
by
Hulu.
David Fincher. It's a different thing altogether.
All these girls are on the soccer team together, and they all get to Brittany's house once the mom finds it in the midst of all the other
Yeah.
houses that look the same.
Tries to drop her off at her house, like,
Yes.
hey, this is your house. And they're like, no, it's not.
Yeah, but they all run into her house to see the
Because
new.
it's 4 o'clock.
It's 4 o'clock, and they all run in to see Jordan Cahill's new music video, and they love it.
Suburban.
Okay.
There you go.
It is
Great.
a Suburban.
It's a Suburban,
So
everybody.
that's a big
Okay.
time vehicle. Yeah.
Big time vehicle. It's Jordan
Just
Cahill's.
want to make sure 20 years ago they were sitting
They
safely.
I will say that they probably are almost assuredly not following the directions of the vehicle or the safety regulations by sitting 4 across, but it is a Suburban which would have the room.
Hands
for
are tied.
Got it.
Yeah.
Jordan Cahill's new music video is premiering. They all run inside. They dance to it. They knock the couch over. It's a whole thing. And Brittany wants to be a little pop star herself. She's writing her own angsty songs, much to her mom's concern. Mom is like, "Are you not happy?" And Brittany's like, "It's just songwriting, Mom. Have you never
And
heard
her
of it?"
sister's
It's really
annoyed
good.
because her sister's trying to solve all the world's math problems and
Yes.
science problems.
Yeah.
And she can't concentrate with the guitar strumming next
That's
door.
right. Yeah,
That's
she
tough.
has an older sister who is nerd cause glasses.
Nerd 'cause
Disney
glasses.
Channel writes the rules.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's right.
Her hair
Um,
is up. She's wearing glasses.
yeah.
She's wearing
That
a
should tell
button
you all you
down.
need to know.
So you
Her
she-
path in
She's
life
waiting for
is,
Freddie Prinze to show up.
Yeah, you
and
know
then
that
there's
she's
going to be
no
sixpence
nonsense.
none the
Yeah.
richer playing.
That's
That's the
exactly
whole thing. Yes.
And she also has an older brother who,
Younger
younger brother who throughout this movie is hiding in her room, listening in on the
and
conversation.
it's as bad as it sounds.
Yeah, it's not great. So she is excited to find out that Jordan is coming to town to film his next music video. She can't believe it. And like the whole thing is like, we live in the suburbs. Nothing ever happens in our town. It's a whole thing. So very excited to find this out. What?
Nothing.
Oh, you guys like looked at each other. Oh,
Hey.
did you hear something?
Yeah.
So she is excited to find.
We
yeah.
cracked the case.
So she goes to school, and a new girl walks in slow motion. She is clearly very cool. You can tell by the slow motion. Her name is Natasha, and she claims she doesn't know who Jordan Cahill is.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
She
knows
claims
who's
she
Jordan
doesn't know.
Cahill.
Well, she's been living in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's like whatever. It's not a big deal.
your American pop stars are
whatever.
And
Who
once
cares?
Brittany hears that she's been living in Europe,
her whole
now I need to be your
personality
best friend.
changes.
Yes.
That's right.
and it's immediate. Like she is wearing her hair up in a ponytail like all of her friends, and Natasha has her hair down. And as soon as her friends and Natasha walk away, Brittany like rips the ponytail out, and she's like,
Which is real quick. This movie's real quick, but that scene, like,
she's like,
you
all
would
right, I
think
got
it would
it.
take her a day or so.
Nope,
Maybe
immediately
she goes
I
home
have
at
to
night and
copy
she.
Copy that girl style.
In Brittany's defense, Natasha did walk in slow motion.
Was
And-
there anything you guys loved just to be like hang out with people? Like, is there any time you were like, yeah, I really like this thing, and then it was just like, no, I actually don't like this thing. I don't know why I was trying to like this thing. It was just the people. Not to that degree, but is there anything you ever did like that?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I don't think I've ever adopted something as my entire personality just to fit
Yeah,
in.
no, but like just something where it's like all my friends are into this thing.
Probably Christian rap.
For me, I can tell you mine is as crazy as that. Like Christian rap's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from
But I don't
grits,
really.
but like you
I
gotta,
don't really like
yeah.
rap in general. But there
Yeah.
was a time where in the youth group space, Christian rap was all you
KJ52,
needed. That's
yeah.
exactly right. Give me some Lecrae, all that stuff. And I didn't like it, but you
Yeah.
had to like it, and so there's nothing you could do about it. What were you gonna say, Dan?
I think mine was pro wrestling.
Oh,
There was like a year and a half span where I was into WCW during the WCW WWF and by the time I was like near the peak of that, I thought I honestly did like it. But then when I stopped watching it, I immediately didn't care. Like, oh my goodness, this is because all my friends at school were talking about what happened. That's why I did never once actually would have watched it, nor did I care. It just wasn't for me, but I did get invested in it. It's like I did, and it was fun to hang out with all my boys and watch it as an 8th, 9th grader. But
let's go.
yeah, that would be mine. That immediately came to mind for me.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
You can't think of anything?
No.
Yeah, fair.
You're so true to yourself.
True
and
to
true to your
yourself.
school.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for most of my childhood, I was just always reading books, and
Yeah.
I didn't really care about the friend side of it until middle school. So
You know.
at that point, I was just the girl who read books.
Yeah.
Still am.
Still am.
So yeah, true to myself.
Brittany's mom is trying to save this old house, and it's going to be a bigger part of this movie, and that's why I mentioned it here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
They
It's called
introduced
This Old
it.
House.
Yes.
yeah. She's excited. Brittany's
Yeah, go for it.
excited that Natasha might be interested in being her friend. But when they go to hang out later, she's embarrassed that her whole room is full of Jordan Cahill posters. So she runs in and she takes them all down. It's the whole thing. And she just wants to play
She's
it
like,
cool.
Natasha, let's hang out in my room, but can you talk to my mom for a solid 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no
course.
big deal. It's no big deal. So the Jordan Cahill music video is playing, and Brittany's like, "Wouldn't it be crazy if we just went down there and watched and like did the whole
Just,
thing?
like, pretended.
Yeah, and just
Pretended
pretended.
to be obsessed
It'd be
with
so
obsessed
crazy.
we
teenagers.
aren't, but we could.
Yeah, we
pretend.
could.
Yeah.
And Natasha's like, yeah, let's go down there. It's going to be fun. So at the shoot, it's clear that Jordan Cahill's not very happy. He doesn't want to sing these cookie cutter
an
songs.
artist.
He wants to sing his own lyrics. So he decides, you know what, I just need some more time. We're going to bail on this. And he gives his assistant I guess Eddie.
His assistant, best friend,
Best friends,
somebody-
not on the payroll yet, but following him
His
around
entourage.
anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
His best buddy Eddie, his phone, and is like, Eddie, all of my song files are on this phone. I need
That's
you
right.
to put them on a disc for me.
Yeah. Classic 2004 problem.
Got to burn
You
it
know
on
what
a
I mean?
disc.
Burn it on a disc.
Hands are tied. So on his way out, Eddie
Put
has
a sheet on that door.
yeah. Eddie has Eddie has the bag and the phone is in it. And on his way out, Brittany, who had tripped over herself, is now on the ground, and he trips over her.
I thought they bumped into each other.
I think she was already on the ground.
Okay.
I don't
Take
recall.
it to the D plus,
I
Dan.
don't recall one or the other.
Take it
but
to the D plus. However it happens, that whether it's bumping or tripping or whatever, they
I just don't want anybody to have to edit the episode.
stuff
that's
has
all.
now been sent out. Stuff has now been thrown all over the place. So they get their stuff,
That's our concern.
and
Yeah.
unfortunately,
It's your concern should be.
in a scurry, he grabs her phone instead of his phone.
Classic giant silver pop star phone
Yes.
versus
Yeah.
small pink teenage girl
it's
cell
an
phone.
easy mistake to
It's an
make.
easy
You
mistake.
know
So
what I
easy to
mean?
grab the
That's
bright
right.
pink phone.
And so they go their own way, and she realizes quickly that she doesn't have her phone. She has this random silver phone, but she doesn't know that it belongs to Jordan Cahill in this moment.
She just thinks it belongs to that groupie.
Yeah, that groupie that's
bumped
kind
into
of
her.
yes. And so they go to the Swanky Hotel by the freeway to get it back, because that's where Jordan Cahill is staying, the Swanky Hotel by the freeway. And at first they don't believe him, but then Eddie realizes that hey, we have your phone. Is it a bumpin'?
Somebody knocked her over.
Okay.
So
yeah.
there's a security guy that comes out and knocks her, literally knocks her over, and,
And then Eddie
he
trips
trips
over her.
over
So
her.
she didn't just fall over herself. There
Okay,
was
great.
there was a bump. She
There
did
was a
bump
bump.
There was
into
a
someone.
bump.
There was a proper bump. There was a
So we
proper
were
bump.
both right.
We were both right.
That's
in
a
this
good way to
scenario.
think of it. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah, I'm good.
they call up.
It was a left-handed handshake. I didn't want any part of it.
Yes.
If you had gone right hand, I'd have been in.
Somehow Eddie hadn't realized that the phone had been swapped. So when they get the call up, they're like, "Hey, someone's here." They think they have your
You know,
phone or
back in
whatever
2004 when you weren't
on
always
your
holding
phone
your
all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then he does realize it, and
Years later. years. Like it's so long.
Yes.
In between checking your phone, it's crazy.
Yes, but he runs down to try to catch them before they leave, but he doesn't make it. So now there's a bit of a situation. So he calls the phone, Jordan Cahill's phone that they have, to try to convince him to meet up, but Madonna calls.
Oh, Madonna. And they just scream at her.
They just scream at Madonna.
They hang up on Eddie to talk to Madonna.
Talk, yeah. He
And
calls.
then they're shocked when Madonna hangs up after all the screaming.
Yeah,
You
it's
got to, guys. You
unbelievable.
got to play it cool if you get to talk to Madonna.
Rule one, right? It's
That's
just,
rule number one. If you ever get a pop star's phone and Madonna calls, you got to play it cool.
you got to play it cool.
He called. Remember that story that guy told that driver that we
Cher?
had?
About Cher?
About Cher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the water.
In the water.
And he got her out of the car.
Yeah.
I don't believe it for a second.
She wanted this specific
It
type
was,
of.
It was LaCroix.
LaCroix.
But before LaCroix was nationwide,
Yes.
it was only in California.
Yeah.
He's a limo driver in New York City. He has Cher. She asked for a specific flavor of LaCroix they did not have yet. According to him, she gets mad at him. He pulls the car over, makes her get out of the car, and then says, "Listen, B word," to Cher. And then she got back in the car. I don't for a second believe this guy. But he also said he drove Frank Sinatra.
And Frank Sinatra threw a bunch of money at him.
A huge tip from
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra. It'd be crazier for him to make these stories up. So he has that going for him. But I can't imagine getting Cher out of a limo to call her the B word and it going well. I can't. But
She basically, the moral of the story is she remembered her place and decided to quiet down
this
and
is
get
how
back in
you
the
become
car.
a limo driver of the stars, like
That's right.
Brain and Dan.
That's exactly right.
That's how he's on the Brain and Dan beat. Is he called Cher a B word?
That's right. Moral of the story is make sure you get the right liquor
That's right.
if you're ever in that situation.
So is this why when we're driving to lunch, you make me get out of the car so you can call me a B word?
I opened your door for you first, though.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
That's true.
Well, that's only because
Chivalry
it's child.
first,
That's
B
only,
word second.
that's only because of the child lock.
No, it's because I always, I always open door for them bees. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right, Dan. You said it, pal. And Lee, go ahead and grab that clip. He calls back.
Bees can't open their own doors. You kidding me right now?
I refuse to open my own door. Even when I'm in the front seat and it's not child locked,
That's right.
Dan has to come around and get my door.
That's right.
Yeah. You kind of do this thing where you just kind of go like this. I can't do it until someone finally gets around.
Like,
to it.
even though I was the last one into the office this morning, I stood in the hallway until you guys came open the door.
It
for
gets
And
me.
we just
awkward.
have to know.
It
We
gets
just have to
awkward.
know. She doesn't
Yeah,
knock.
I don't let you know. Like, you should just.
She will start coughing loudly if you don't come out there in a few minutes.
That Aaron?
That's it.
Must
Is that
be
Aaron? Must be Aaron.
Must be Aaron. She gets lightheaded sometimes.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Depending on how long it takes them
fainted
to.
once.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to drag
But
her
I stay
in.
true to who I am,
That's right.
and I will not open a
That's
door.
right.
She reads a book in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie calls him back again, demands to speak. Sorry, what? Oh,
Who?
yes. Eddie calls
Why?
them.
When?
Eddie
How?
calls them back to try to get the phone.
What?
It's at this point in time that they realize after the Madonna call, this is
it's Jordan's phone.
Jordan's phone. And so
Yeah.
they say, we need to talk to Jordan. Eddie refuses because he doesn't want Jordan to know that he lost the phone because he had one job.
Yeah,
Hey, one
he's
job.
hoping to someday get paid, and if he lets Jordan know he lost the phone, he might get fired from his free job.
Yes. So they're not going to just roll over and give the phone. They're going to do some goofs first.
Do some goofs.
So they use the phone to call ahead to have the hairdresser cut his hair, thinking that it wouldn't actually happen, but it does happen. And that's a whole
And they
thing.
also make up like a fun rider, like he only wants to eat raisins, and you can't look him in the eye.
Yeah.
That could have been a fun delish, just a bowl of raisins.
Yeah.
It could have been.
Bowl of raisins. The good stuff.
I don't mind
And
raisins.
I would have
Of
just
course
been
you
like,
don't.
here's some raisins.
That's right.
Act like that doesn't happen every day around here.
She pulled that clip.
Yeah,
from
while
the
you
other
guys
day.
are opening the door, I also can't
Yeah,
look
that's
at
right.
you.
It's
a whole
weird,
thing.
guys.
It's a weird workplace, but it's
it
above
works
board.
for us.
I mean, there is true story. One time I was trying to get into the office and I had to call Dan, who was across town, and he had to drive
Because
back
Brian had
to
locked
open
her
the door
out.
for
That's
me.
right. That's right. So that actually did happen. Yeah.
Because Brian locked me
Brian
out.
catching strays out here on decom descendants.
Brian would hate for something to get stolen.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this episode is going to air on the same day as an interview over on Deck the Hallmark, where Brian gets a lot of praise from
yeah.
the interviewee.
So weird.
We got to even that out.
We don't want
Whenever
to.
I hear that, I just immediately think less of the guests too. I'm just like, you think what about Brian?
So we're just trying to keep the universe in
Yeah,
balance.
exactly right.
Jordan ends up liking his haircut, and so Brittany and Natasha then keep making more changes, such as his wardrobe. They get him some dogs, which we don't really see again, but
we don't.
he does get dogs. And Jordan is now finding himself a lot happier, which is interesting.
And he's so proud of Eddie for like
Thanks for
knowing
making
what
all
he
these
needed.
changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still not going to pay you. We'll see how the rest of the trip
and
goes.
he's still not wanting his phone back.
Yes.
Obviously, that'd be crazy.
Brittany is now inspired to continue like really focusing on her songs and her lyrics.
Well-
Lyrics we don't get to see because they blur them out for some reason
Yeah.
on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Her brother cracks the phone, and that helps her be inspired for her lyrics too.
Yes.
She sees his lyrics.
Yes, that's right.
So that also
Yeah,
helps.
this is also. I remember seeing this when it came out, and the brother cracks the phone, and he just says, "Anyone over the age of 14 just uses the factory setting,
Yeah.
like the factory password."
Which is so crazy.
And I remember at like 13 years old being like, "Is that all it takes to hack something? Is this just knowing the factory
I
password?"
will say this.
And I was so impressed. And then like a year later, I was like, "That's not how that
It's
works."
not true at all.
No.
But I will say this. In 2004, my phone wasn't password protected until probably 2008 or 9. So definitely a feature that was not used nearly as often.
Right.
But as a principal of a middle and high school, when you confiscated middle schoolers' phones, the password was almost always their birthday. Like almost always their birthday.
Were you
Well,
trying to?
for
sure.
middle
Were you trying
schoolers,
to hack into?
I wasn't. However,
That's not how it's playing here, Dan.
However, I had someone in the office go, "Man, if only we could get into these phones." And I was like, "I bet they're all their birthday." And they were like, "No." And I was like, "Yeah, they are." And I had a drawer full of phones, and like 8 of 10 of these phones, birthday, every time. Like,
well, when you think
crazy.
about it, like what other combination of numbers do middle schoolers know?
that's right. There's another popular one with middle school boys. 6969. They think that's a riot.
What about 8008?
I went to 8008.
8008. I don't know if that one ever worked, but I didn't try. I didn't keep trying it. But so one day I tried.
It's boob, everybody.
It's boob.
It's boob.
It's boob.
And it's funny.
It's boob.
If
Hilarious.
you do it, if you put in your
Boob
calculator
singular.
and you flip it, and it looks like if you do 5800, it looks like boobs, and
Boobs.
that's funny.
Yeah,
if
it's
you flip the
hilarious.
calculator.
Yeah, you could add some other numbers like some 7s and 4s, and it would be like "Hello boobs." I remember that one being a popular one. So full screen.
The common
Hello,
thing
boobs.
that all boys say. Hello, boobs.
It's like Newman just came to the door of Seinfeld. Hello, boobs.
So stuck in the suburbs.
Yeah,
That's
no.
right. So she basically threatens Eddie.
Leave us a rating or review if your phone password is boobs.
Yeah,
So she basically threatens Eddie until she gets to meet up with Jordan and have him play the old house. And Eddie's kind of up against it, and I guess kind of agrees to it. And so that's when she gets her ice cream sundae because of the
they're
she's
gonna save
Well,
the house.
yeah, it's not even like she just makes her demand and then just before hearing back from Eddie,
she just
tells
goes,
everyone
Yes.
Jordan's going to be at the rally.
yes.
Um,
And word gets out that
do the parents ask any questions of how did you know Jordan Cahill?
how did you know?
No, they just go straight forward, full throttle with the planning. I also will
and the
say
Sundays.
the reason that Jordan Cahill performing there is going to save the house, per the mom and dad, is because after he performs there, it will be a historical landmark, and they can't tear it down. That's a line said in this movie.
That's right.
That's crazy.
Well,
Whereas
you don't know
I
how
just
big of a
think they're
deal
going to have
Jordan
everyone at the
Cahill is.
rally sign a petition
Yes.
to make it a historical landmark.
Aaron, that's one of the dumbest things you've ever said.
Yeah. But even so, they have 20
Can't
people
make that
there.
a plot point.
20 people
It's a historical
signing
landmark.
a petition.
Okay.
Something happened. It's history.
It's history. History, baby.
You can't tear it down. So word gets out that she kind of knows Jordan, and she takes all the credit for everything and all of Jordan's changes. And
Yeah.
Natasha is
Starting
just
to
like,
become not herself,
it's my
you know?
idea. And Natasha is now feeling left out and feeling hurt by this. So when Brittany goes over to talk to Natasha after finding out that Penelope breaks up with Jordan, she
Well, real quick about the breakup
Yeah,
scene.
go
She's eating the giant banana split sundae when she finds that her sister says like, "Oh, I hope he can still perform even though he's really sad because Penelope just broke up with him." So she runs away to go like call her friends and confirm this news. Her brother swoops in to eat the banana sundae because free ice cream, why not?
Absolutely.
And the parents are like, "You did nothing to earn this." Dad takes it and puts it in the cabinet.
Yeah, puts it in the cabinet, and it is already like half melted. When he puts it in the cabinet, he puts banana split in cabinet, and when he takes it, it doesn't look the same as when it was on the counter.
That's right.
It's great.
It's a goof. It's a double goof.
So when Brittany goes over to talk to Natasha, they get in a big argument and they say some things that they might regret.
Man, you hate
to say the least.
Yeah.
And it turns out that
It's real
Natasha
mean.
Natasha was lying about everything about Europe
Dad's
and
a
all that.
salesman. He's
Yeah.
in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
and
not
they,
in Europe. She hasn't been living in Europe.
That's right. So they're not friends again, and they're never going to talk.
Classic middle school girl.
That's right. For
Yeah.
at least a couple hours.
Yeah. You gotta
It's
do
gonna-
some thinking.
Yeah, you got to think about
Classic
it.
middle school girl.
So she's sad, and Eddie tells her that this has to end now, and that Jordan knows what's going on, and Jordan now has her phone, and he calls Brittany, and they end up talking about how amazing his real lyrics are, and
She's like, "Hey, I hacked your phone, but it was all good because
So,
you're a
yeah,
genius."
your lyrics are amazing.
and he says,
Don't worry about the
he
hacking.
says it doesn't even matter. I don't even want to be in the music business anymore. Apparently, a fun fact about Jordan Cahill's real phone that Brittany has, it has a tracker.
The Palm
Uh,
Trio?
If all these high end phones, they have trackers, and so
If Eddie had just known that, this movie would have been 10
So
minutes.
the manager then finds that out and is like, we got it. We're just gonna get a few
he's
henchmen.
like, "Hey, get in the car. I activated the GPS on his
That's
phone.
right.
We're gonna go get him."
good to
Easy
go.
peasy.
Brittany and Natasha make up, they hug and whatnot, and then they go to find Jordan, which they end up finding as he's running away from a group of super fans
in slow-mo.
in slow motion. It's a whole
it's like
thing.
a light jog.
A light jog
light
is
jog.
being kind to how fast he is
Power
running.
walk, maybe.
And the crowd is just so funny because they are right behind him.
Yeah.
But they can't
And you
catch
can
him.
tell that they were told, act like you can't catch him. So there's just one girl acting her heart out.
Yeah.
And if
he-
she had just extended her hands, would have touched him, but she can't. So she's like,
Yeah,
oh, no.
and he's running at maybe
And he's-
1.5 miles an hour, 2 miles an hour. Like it's not a run.
I could probably power walk
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, easily.
It's a
Yeah.
great, a scene that I thought when I was 13, I was like, look at all those
it
fans
hits.
chasing him.
Yeah,
And then
it
at
hits.
34, I was like,
This is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So they agree to
there's
swap.
5 people in that crowd.
Yeah. They agree to swap phones back, but not before Brittany gets all of the stuff off. They do a thing where they touch phones, and that gets everything
Yeah,
that she needs.
which is
A great feature in 2013 or 14.
which is
Right?
a great feature that the Palm Trio could do.
Really?
I remember my parents both had Palm Pilots, and they could share.
Amazing.
They would sync only with each other. Like you
Okay.
could
Yeah.
transfer
But she
files
didn't
that way.
have that.
But
No
she
way.
has a pink Nokia brick
Yeah,
phone.
which
like
she
that's
played Snake and made calls, and that was
Yeah.
T9 word
made
touch.
calls
How
on a
cool
good
was
day.
Snake?
Snake was
Snake's so
freaking
great.
awesome.
And T9 texting.
So-
Just bring me back.
Yeah.
I don't really know what happens from here,
somehow
but she does
yeah.
a thing that sends out the lyrics to,
To everyone.
but via a phone
It's
call.
like YouTube putting their album on the iPhones
Well, so
without
what she
telling
says
you.
is, he's like, oh, so you sent it to everyone. And she was like, no, the next best thing. So what she, being a middle school girl, this is what I believe happened. She sent the real lyrics to her friends who then sent it to their, it was like a middle school girl phone tree.
But somehow the manager of Jordan Cahill is listening to the song with the new lyrics in it.
Yeah. So I don't know if they sent out.
So somehow it went from middle school girl phone tree to Cahill manager, new song intact.
it went viral.
Went viral.
In a
Well,
sense.
he's reading. I wonder
But
if
the
the
song's
music was put
playing.
in
the
for.
song's playing
I
with
don't
the
know.
new lyrics.
However it happens,
It's
it happens.
crazy.
It happens.
Yeah.
And so they then throw leave his phone behind, which throws off the tracking. That lets them get to the rally.
They leave the bike and the phone behind.
That's right.
So that
That's right.
clearly the bad guys would assume they were in the giant metal pipe.
They get to the rally and they're about to play. The manager tells Eddie, "Hey, you got to go up there and stop him.
you gotta stop him.
If you stop him, maybe we'll start paying you for this."
Mm-hmm.
But once Eddie realizes that this is what his friend really wants to do, he supports him. He goes out and announces, "Here's Jordan Cahill." Jordan gives a speech.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you at all
No.
what he talked about, but he gives a speech and then he plays
I would assume it's something
Be-
about
be
being true to
yourself.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and how cool old houses are.
Yeah. This one's going to be historical.
So he then plays the song, but with his own lyrics.
Full
and
band.
Full band.
And the acoustics are amazing.
They love it. Everybody is a big fan.
He does sound a little bit like Drew Seeley.
A little bit.
A little bit like Drew
poco.
Seeley.
Yes.
Almost, it sounded also similar to
Zac
the
Efron?
singer from Zac Efron,
In
but
High
only in
School-
High School
Troy-
Musical
Troy
1.
Bolton.
Mhm,
I mean, put some respect on
Specifically
that
High
name.
School Musical 1.
Yeah.
So fast forward, Brittany and her friends are on the way back from soccer again. She is on the phone talking to Jordan
Mom
Cahill.
is still depressed.
It's above board.
It's above board.
Everything's good.
He's like,
It's fine.
"Hey, you
He's
should
like,
come
to Brooklyn.
to New York, hang
Middle
out with
school
me."
girl.
And she's like, "I don't have to come to New York because I got everything I need in my cool suburbs." They make it to the house. They turn on new music video. Jordan Cahill has been replaced by Eddie. And I have
Yep.
to be honest with you, I don't know why.
I think it was for their dance. They're dancing in the background. And so Jordan Cahill probably was like, stick around and let them do this with
Yeah.
him singing.
But why did they replace Jordan Cahill with Eddie?
I think it was like a favor. I just thought of it like he was like, hey,
Oh, I assumed that he wanted to go off and be like a serious
Right,
singer.
he doesn't want to
songwriter.
be a musician or
oh,
a
so
pop
Eddie
star
is the
anymore.
new Jordan.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think the label wanted
But Eddie
a person
didn't-
that would just do whatever they said, and Eddie was like, "Yeah,
But Eddie didn't do the
Wow.
thing. Eddie
Yeah.
didn't stop him from doing it. If "Hey, if you stop him from going up there and
And
singing,
also,
you got a future
Eddie,
here, kid."
Nothing about
He-
Eddie is pop star.
I know. It was very confusing because their whole thing was, Eddie, if you stop him from singing, you have a future. Not only did he not do that, he went out and he introduced
Yeah,
Jordan
he did the
Cahill,
opposite in every way.
and he got rewarded by becoming a pop star.
Duh.
I mean, I just like to think that Jordan went on to have such a successful career that, they just he was
Coming
able
up
to save
aces.
Eddie's career. I don't know.
Everything's coming up.
It's all above board.
It's
It all
all
checks
above
out.
board, and that is Stuck in the Suburbs,
Hey,
everybody. Let's do
we
this.
did
Let's
it.
take a break. Let's come back, and we'll break it down some more, and we'll make our list and whatnot here on
Decom
Descendants.
Descendants.
Woo!
Man,
That's going to get us to 300. Welcome back. Stuck in the Suburbs. Have you ever been stuck anywhere, Dan?
I was stuck in the Newark airport for 12 hours, and I thought it was the end of my existence.
Yeah.
I was just graduated high school, and I was like, "This is the worst."
Yeah, that's a long time.
And in
driven
retrospect,
home.
as instead of a 17-year-old, as a 41-year-old, 12 hours in Newark airport doesn't sound that bad anymore. Like, maybe go
It's
to
like a mini vacation.
go to the bar, watch a couple movies. Like, I'm down.
Yeah, I would find a deserted gate.
Yeah.
Spread myself out across a couple of chairs.
Yeah, charge my phone,
Read a book,
watch a few movies.
Maybe take a little snooze.
A
Man,
little snooze.
maybe go to the Texas Roadhouse or Longhorn.
like
or
that-
whatever.
Oh, now you're talking. Hey, the airport steakhouse is always hit different.
Me and you and Panda, Longhorn Steakhouse. What was that? 9:45 in the morning, full steak dinners.
Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, you only live once.
When
you
in
know what I
Rome.
mean? YOLO.
When in Rome.
And then not on the same scale, but also early in the morning.
Smash
burgers
Yeah,
at the airport.
yeah.
Those
The airport
also
is a
hit.
magical place
that was-
where everything costs $100, but there are no rules. So just live it up.
You pay for the no rules, but that was way earlier than our steak dinner. I think that was pre 8 a.m. that
It
we
might
did
have
smash
been
burgers.
early.
It was a
really
very
early.
early, and it was clutch.
It's time for
just what I
overtime.
wanted.
It is where we talk about how this movie aged over time. We've got some letterbox reviews if you would like them.
Love it.
Abby says 2 stars. The flashback montage that literally only covered the 2 days the girls had been friends. Iconic.
Oh man, I can't believe we didn't mention that in the comm chat.
Well, there's that flashback, and then there's the flashback of all the events that happened an hour ago.
yeah. It's a double flashback situation. Yeah.
Soraya says 1.5 star. Not Taryn from SNL playing a hot teen idol when Drew Seeley was right there playing an MF front desk clerk. Drew Seeley
Yeah.
gets screwed by the
Yeah,
Disney
he
Channel.
does. I would love to interview him just to see how he keeps coming back for more of this.
He did go on the High School Musical tour, though. Zac Efron wasn't available. You remember that?
That's
Remember that,
wild.
Aaron?
No.
Yeah, it happened. Ian,
Is there a place that I could tune in to listen for facts like this?
Dude, if there was only, but I only want a little bit at a time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want a
just
whole
like a
pod.
minute. Just like a minute
Like
every
a
day.
quick burst of
it's
like
a
to start
Decom
my
Daily-
day.
It's a Decom Daily Minute.
Man.
I mean, I
Get
think
up
it could still go on a couple.
as you're
it could
brushing
go
your
a couple
teeth in the
minutes.
morning. You just turn on the DDM, yeah, the
Yeah.
DDM, and you just listen. You listen, and you're like, huh, and then you stop brushing your teeth.
And I
you
think
go
as
on your
long
day.
as it's like single digit minutes, I think it still counts.
So the Decom Daily Minute could be 9 minutes long.
could be
Hard out.
if you need to.
Hard out.
If it's a big day,
You save it.
if it's a big day, you got to talk about it.
Yeah, whatever.
Ian says 3.5 stars. Was going to give this 3 stars, and then I remembered I gave the same rating to La La Land. Which is funny.
Ian.
Funny
So
slice
Stuck in
by
the
Ian.
Suburbs is better.
Better than La La
Got
Land. Ari says 2.5 stars. I still don't know why Jordan's BFF became the new Jordan Cahill.
Yep.
Fair.
It's a weird one.
Kells says 3.5 stars. Ugly white men being stand is the most accurate part of this movie.
Got him.
Kelly says 0.5 star. These girls dedicating their whole lives to a man who isn't even good at music.
Yeah. Terry and Killam catching all kinds of strays here.
Yeah.
And I will say that maybe you seem to really love him when this movie came out. Yes, like you were a big fan. Like, did you were like,
I
Of
see
Taryn
it.
Killam?
yeah,
Like,
No,
what,
I
did
had
you
no
buy
idea.
him
Okay.
as pop star?
like he doesn't fit the bill of that at all.
No, I mean, he was probably like, because Disney gives me Protozoa for 3 movies and then tries to
Come
tell me
on.
Jordan Cahill is a
Yeah.
pop star.
One
Like,
of these guys is not like the other.
no, I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't really get it. I was appreciative that they cut his hair in the movie. 'Cause
Yeah,
that
but then he
helps.
stops being a pop star. What's
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
is
It's-
his rise happens with that long hair.
No, I
which
mean,
is-
it was a couple years ago that I realized it was Taron Killam.
Yeah.
Because I saw something, probably on like Instagram, and I was like, thought it was just one of those like fake news. I was like, that wasn't Taron Killam. And I looked it up and I was like, oh,
yeah,
no.
If only there was a place that could tell you
Yeah.
if it's fake news or real news.
It is
because
a
I didn't know.
wild move that Taron Killam
But-
is the pop star hunk of this movie.
Yes.
that is the
Yeah.
that is the bit of this.
Speaking of which,
Especially when Drew Seeley was
I
right.
know.
Drew Seeley is there.
last reviews from Steven, who says this is the worst SNL sketch of all time. Let's share our thoughts on this movie and how it aged over time. Aaron, what do you think? You saw it then, you've seen it now.
Yeah, I am thinking this movie would have been better if it had been an SNL sketch.
It's close in length.
Just like, I'm just gonna be thinking about that all day. Yeah, this movie doesn't quite hold up. It's one of those iconic ones from when I was a kid, probably because of Daniel Panabaker and Brenda Song,
Yeah.
and really just resting on the two of them doing some hijinks. The movie is a lot shorter than I remembered, but then also somehow longer than I remembered. Because in watching it, realizing was this one like 78 minutes?
Without the credits, it's like 77 or 78 minutes.
Yeah.
It's very short.
And somehow we have 3 full musical numbers.
I think there's 4 musical numbers and
and
2
2
montages.
montages.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie, if you cut that out, could have been an SNL sketch.
Yeah.
Trying to play off Taron Killam as the pop star, just it didn't hold up for me. I'm sure 20 years ago I was just like, yeah, I
Sure,
guess.
whatever.
And now I was like, there's no world where that guy is beloved by thousands, only thousands.
Thousands.
Maybe. I mean, there's only 5 in that town, so
He's
Not that
world famous. He's world famous. Just came
is
to
the
this
name of their suburb World?
world. No, world
Okay.
famous.
Well, I got
Millions
questions.
and millions.
So
Famous
yeah,
world.
I mean, it's still gonna be one that I like remember fondly, but probably not one that I'm going to rewatch often.
Fair.
I think this movie's an absolute blast. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that these two leads were just so darn fun together, and I had fun that they were. When I was I had fun. They had fun. I had fun
Let's
because
be
they had
fans
fun.
of each other. You know. Let's,
Taryn's the weakest link of this movie, and
Why?
that's unfortunate.
I think he's played the weakest link host on SNL before.
I think that's possible. And I think that he would even look back at this and be like, yeah, it probably wasn't the best for me. But aside from him, and it's not like, oh, he made the movie bad. It's just like, now that you realize Drew Seeley's right there, or, anyone, bring Protozoa back. I don't know. There were. I think that could have elevated it, but I don't think he took enough away from me not to still have an absolute blast with this movie. I had a really good time. Dan?
Yeah, this movie I do think knows what it is, and I think that is a big hurdle to clear. Like Z3,
The Mighty Ducks.
same length movie. They just are there because they don't
Had
get
to be.
fined. Yeah, they literally are there. And they're like, let's just slapdash a movie together. This movie has a through line, and it is a silly slice of summer movie for a 10-year-old girl. I like that is the ideal demographic for this movie. Brand loved it, no surprise. Like
Can
that is
confirm as a 13-year-old girl.
that's
Loved
right.
it.
And I think something needs to be said for that. It's not going to be anywhere near my top 10. I think that it's a postage stamp of a movie. It could have been an email. It could have been a short. It is, without all those montages and full length musical numbers, well under an hour runtime. It doesn't hold up in the slightest, but it is kind of fun to laugh at, knowing how serious a certain demographic took this movie 21 years ago. And
today.
not laughing at the viewer, laughing at the fact that I think now a 13-year-old girl would not watch this on Disney. Like, I don't think 13-year-olds are flocking to Disney for their movies on opening night anymore. Are they like, I would love to hear the demographic for the Descendants viewer ratings. Like, I bet it would skew younger. That's a guess on my part. But
Yeah,
like,
I'd be curious to look
Like, or a new property. Maybe the 13, 14, maybe the tweens and the teenagers are still hanging out because Descendants was their childhood. But a new DCOM released now, I don't think that teenage boys and girls are circling their calendar for something like this anymore. I think that was a product of the time, and it is fun to look back at it as a time capsule. Does it?
I mean, I do remember like planning my evening, like the movie started at 8. And I would make sure.
Let's watch a Disney Channel movie.
You guys crushed that. It was so good.
I
That's
remember
gonna be
like
the theme song for
and
you.
then there was a small period of time where they moved the movie to 9,
Ooh.
and I was angry.
Yeah, that's
Crazy. I
tough.
don't remember that. That's crazy.
But yeah, it was definitely like appointment view. Like I was like,
Yeah.
this is happening. I have to be there. Like, you know, because they would advertise.
Yeah. It'd go
I
behind
mean,
the
I'm just thinking
scenes.
like like I remember some of the ABC family movies that may as well have been DCOMs, like Summertime Switch with Ryder Strong. Like, do you remember that movie, Brand? Do you
I
know what movie I'm
don't.
talking
I
about?
do
Okay.
know. I do remember My Date with the President's Daughter.
So like, I
My
didn't
date
get
with the President's Daughter.
I was already
Oh,
too
yeah.
old for that.
My
But
Date
with her.
cool. This movie is where these two kids switch. One of them's poor, one of them's rich, and they switch. It's called Summertime Switch.
Oh,
It is. I
I've maybe seen
remember like during the summer,
Get
it's
us to 300.
super hot outside. It's 100 degrees in South Carolina, and in the evening watching this movie, which I guarantee you doesn't hold up at all, and just being like, I'm a 12, I don't know how old I was, 12, 13, and being like, this was a fun diversion. I'm all in on this. And if you look back at this movie through those lenses, I can see completely how it worked. Is it good? No. Does it hold up now? Absolutely not. But you've got a lot of people who have gone on to act. You know, Danielle Panabaker, we've seen on Hallmark. Taron Killam, obviously, he was in Hamilton. He was on SNL. He's currently in High Potential. Like, you get to see this, and it is a clear slice of life. Summertime, if you were there and were in that age bracket, this made sense kind of movie. And so I'm not mad at it, but is it good? No, it's not good. Does it age well? Absolutely not. But I can see why it worked at the time. Whereas Z3, I can't imagine that working at any time at all. So that's where I land on it. You know what I mean, Bran?
You think Macaulay Culkin's seen it?
Has
Aaron?
seen, yeah, I'm sure.
yeah,
I'm
I
sure.
think so. I think there's definitely a period of their relationship where if they had not already seen each other's work,
I like to think that.
Yeah.
I like to think that.
Summertime Switch, a 1994 comedy. You guys were,
Ooh.
both under 5 respectively. And I was,
How old was Ryder in that?
I was 10 or 11 in that movie. Well, there they are right there. Look at this. There they are. Look at this. This young Ryder Strong.
Is that? I mean,
Yeah. Look at there he is.
man,
oh, he's a little baby.
that's
Little
like
baby.
season 1 Ryder right
Yeah.
there.
Young Ryder Strong.
Little
and it was
baby Ryder.
on
Little baby
ABC.
Ryder.
So there you go. Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out, Ryder Strong.
Shout out. Let's do our list. Let's make our list.
I
Check
love
it
it.
twice. Where did this movie end up, and then how did it affect our top 10 and all that good stuff?
The
Aaron?
guy that played opposite Ryder Strong, Summertime Switch, was young Simba in The Lion King.
Ooh,
Jason Weaver.
How about that?
True story. There you go. Go ahead whenever you're ready. And was in Drumline. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, don't leave out Drumline.
One band, one sound. Come on.
Duh.
Come on.
So Stuck in the Suburbs is not going to be in my top 10.
What?
I know, shocker. I mean, all the things you said are correct.
But
You
it's
know,
not a top 10. It's just not a top 10 movie.
It hit at the time.
I
and
think the top 10 has to age well. That's
Yes.
a personal belief of mine. Like, it's not for Bran, but it is for me.
That's right.
For me, the top 10 has to age well. Sorry, go ahead.
And I was also thinking, like, while you were talking about how Disney did a much better job of infiltrating every aspect of my life as a teenage girl. Because you would watch the shows, and then during the shows, they would be advertising for their new movies. And then, of course, you'd be like, yeah, I'm tuning in for the new movie. And, and then there'd be a music video playing during a commercial of Hilary Duff. So you're like, oh, I have to go buy that album. And it was just a much better, like,
Ecosystem.
it was my whole
Yeah.
world of like, this is what I'm going to watch. It's what I'm going to listen to. And I just don't know if they quite have that same, because like Sabrina Carpenter started on Disney, but that same audience that watched her, I mean, I guess now they're older, but you know what I mean? It just doesn't quite cross over as easily. Like early Hilary Duff, yes, I transitioned from Lizzie McGuire to Hilary Duff, but it's harder for like Girl Meets World to go straight into Sabrina Carpenter. Olivia Rodrigo was on Disney Channel
Yeah,
So like they went off and did their own careers the way they wanted, and I think that's really great. Whereas early Disney had like a control
captive.
over.
yeah,
That's right.
they were
you know,
so much exposure.
Like Miley Cyrus, like
you
how
had no
she,
choice but to love all of those people by the time that she left.
You know, Miley's early career very Disney heavy.
Yeah,
Until she was able to fulfill that contract and go and perform the way she wanted to. And so I like
Had a party in the U.S.
I would submit that the people that make it now out of Disney are just talented, whereas back then they were crafted and curated.
Literally anybody who was on the Disney Channel could get a record deal.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and so like when I say things about Hilary Duff that make Brand lose his mind, I'm not hating on Hilary Duff. I think she has a talent, but she's not nearly as talented across the board as a Sabrina Carpenter, in my opinion. I think Hilary Duff, Raven Simone, Miley Cyrus, these people have bukus of talent, but Disney had so much control that by the time they left, a whole generation was predisposed to love them, regardless of what they did, right? Like Hilary Duff can do no wrong for Brandon Gray. Can't.
That's right.
And so I think that now if Olivia Rodrigo gets out of that and does one Disney thing or whatever, I don't know what Olivia Rodrigo did on Disney, but like
High School Musical, the series.
High School. Okay. Yeah. So the big time. And I think that is a much more respective of talent than it is of exposure, but maybe that's just me. And
Show
I don't
freaking
know.
ruled.
Okay.
The show was awesome.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Where's it going to end up
Yeah.
on your list?
Who knows?
Well, you brought up a real philosophical question.
I know.
and
I just while you were talking, it made me think about, you know,
this is good podcasting. This is better than what we normally do here.
yeah, I think
Hello, boobs, long in the past.
bring that back.
We're past it.
So you do it on your calculator, then you flip
it. Hello, boobs.
And that's like, it's like a party trick.
That's right.
And sometimes you would just stop at the hell and be like,
I would not. Don't let me into your heathenism.
I will talk about boobs, but I am not going to just even joke about hell.
Some things you joke about.
Some things you don't.
Some things you don't.
Hell no.
Come on.
But yeah, I mean, we'll just have an episode of the DCOM Daily Minute where we just discuss Disney's control and how they're slipping. Anyway, this movie, I've lost it. It is airing at 23.
23.
It's gonna premiere at 23.
It's airing at it.
It's airing at it.
Yeah.
It's going to be right behind Double Teamed and right ahead of Gotta Kick It Up.
Wow, that's
right in that
funny.
bucket. So my top 10 has not changed. Scream Team, Miracle on Lane 2, Get a Clue, also Brenda song. Eddie's
out.
$1 Million Cook-Off, Fan with the Megaplex, Smart House, Johnny Tsunami, Right on Track, Cadet Kelly, and Motocross.
Right on track. Right on track.
And Dan knows
I know exactly what it is.
What that is.
I don't need any.
Interestingly enough, Aaron, I also have Stuck in the Suburbs right behind Double Teamed, but I have both of those movies higher than you do. So I have Stuck in the Suburbs at 16.
Wowzers.
That's where it's airing. It's airing at 16.
Good,
My top 10 has also not changed. 10 is Luck of the Irish. 9, Phantom. 8, Full Court Miracle. 7, Smart House. 6, Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. 5, Cadet Kelly. 4, Get a Clue featuring Brenda Song. 3, Motocrossed. 2, Johnny Tsunami, and number 1, the greatest movie of all time.
Motocross.
Motocross
is number 1 and 3 on Brent's list.
That's crazy.
So wildly enough, I also have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So I also have Stuck in the Suburbs. Suburbs? You in the suburbs? I got stuck in the suburbs. Heard her. It's my list term. It's the suburbs. I have stuck in the. I can talk.
Are
now.
you the host of DCOM Daily Minute? What if I made
It's
that
me.
guy do the DCOM Daily
Charlie,
Minute?
DCOM Daily Minute.
The Jonas Brothers are doing Christmas.
So I have Stuck in the Suburbs very close to Double Teamed and Got to Kick It Up as well, but I have Stuck in the Suburbs at 32 on my list.
Whoa!
29, 30, 31 are Double Teamed, Gotta Kick It Up, and Even Stevens movie. Those are the 3 movies that it's near.
Even Stevens movie number 12.
Yeah, so like Right on Track is a solid
Right on track. Right on
you know,
track.
8 or 9 movies ahead of it.
I have Even Stevens at 14.
Yeah.
God
That's
almighty. But that is a classic. I didn't watch this show, and you guys did, and that's fair. I think that's
yeah, I mean that movie does hit differently if you've watched them.
Oh, it's different, baby.
fair, more than
Christy
fair.
Romano.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out.
So my top 10 unchanged: Miracle in Lane 2, Full Court Miracle, Scream Team, Get a Clue, Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, Cadet Kelly, Phantom of the Megaplex, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, Johnny Tsunami, best movie by far, Motocross at number 1.
And who's starring in Get a Clue?
I believe that's Lindsay Lohan.
And
Holt, try again.
Lindsay Lohan and Brenda Song. I got to be honest. The movie that is currently percolating in my brain as moving up the list is Cadet Kelly. That movie, every time I see it at 5.
Well, you keep talking about Hillary Duff.
I'm
How do you
like, I know.
not?
Listen, I will submit to you that while I've not seen much of Hillary Duff, I've literally seen her in this, and I've seen her in How I Met Your Father, and I've heard her music. This is the best thing she's ever done. And I think also the rest
have
of
you
the
seen
cast.
Casper Meets Wendy?
Nope. The rest of the cast in Cadet Kelly is amazing, including Christy Carlson
She's a
Romano.
little girl. She has a friend who's a
And
ghost.
I don't care. I think
She's a witch.
this
She's a
movie might be a top 3 movie for me by the end, all said and done. It's really good.
She's very charismatic in that movie.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable in this movie. And her dad is great. Why can't I think of his name right now? Gary Cole. Gary Cole is his name.
Hello.
And Christy Carlson Romano. The whole team is great. I really like, I think that movie's going to end up popping ahead of Phantom of the Megaplex and Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. I think it is. Not ready to pull that trigger yet, but I think that's where I am.
You keep praying about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we
I would
did
love
it.
to rank. I'm just thinking about like Hillary Duff, Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, Miley Cyrus. I would love to just rank who I think is like
The most talented.
Yeah. On a scale.
Currently. Not as a child actor, but at what they are right now.
Because I think Miley is ahead of Hillary. I know.
I will say this.
know.
Miley Cyrus's music as an adult is miles better than Hillary
That's the
Duff.
interesting thing about Hillary, though, is once she kind of left Disney Channel, she didn't really put out much
I'm sure I've
music.
seen other stuff she's in, but I don't remember any of it.
Did you ever see Cheaper by the Dozen with Steve
Yeah,
Martin?
yeah,
She's-
she is so forgettable in that movie.
Okay.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Be careful. Be careful, big guy.
Um,
Are you talking
yeah,
about
but
Ashton
she was
Kutcher? Because
always
you'd be
like,
correct.
I think part of my love for her is that she kind of avoided that whole early 2000s teen like mess where they all ended up either addicted to some sort of drug or drinking problem. Like she kind of avoided that whole thing, went off, got married, had kids. And I just was like, all right, cool.
She seems like a great person.
like she did the
I
did
want
the
to
thing.
be very clear.
you
I'm
know?
not saying anything she's done is actively
And so
bad.
I hold
I'm
her
just
in high regard as like a role model. But if I'm
awesome.
if I'm like ranking my Disney Channel stars of who do I think can headline a tour the best,
Like Miley
Hillary
Cyrus
Duff.
has
she's down there.
dozens of songs I think that are better than anything Hillary Duff has
Yeah,
put out song wise.
I don't always.
Movie wise, I'm just looking like I've never seen. These are the things most listed on her credits. I've never seen Cinderella Story. I've never seen Lizzie McGuire movie. I've never seen The Perfect Man. I've never seen Raise Your Voice.
I own all those movies.
I've seen How I Met Your Father. I've never seen Younger. I've never seen The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
Oh, I haven't
I've never
either.
seen Meet Your Tooth Fairy. I've never seen. Those are all Younger. I've never seen Flock of Dudes. I've never seen. These are music videos now. I don't have much of a primer on Hillary Duff, but Cadet Kelly, she ruled in that movie. She's great.
Yeah.
There you have it. Brain, you want to wrap it up or just sit there in silence?
One, I was just thinking about Hillary Duff's music.
Great.
And how I haven't listened to an album that came out in 2015.
Which one?
Breathe In, Breathe Out.
Oh, I own that one.
Okay.
I like that one a lot.
Do you
Oh,
like own the
I was-
physical copy of it?
I was just thinking about
go.
like the argument,
Compact disc.
the argument about
Miley.
Miley headlining is she kept going with it as
Mhm.
part of it.
And she didn't diversify, and she didn't get into many films.
Yeah,
she just
that's right.
did.
But I mean, I think
Music.
there's
Once she was
something to
done-
be said for somebody wanting it.
Sure, for
and
sure.
I just can't picture Hillary.
I don't know if Hillary liked doing music. I don't know, but
I mean,
that's the
yeah.
thing. Like the interesting thing about like Sabrina Carpenter too is like she's been going for like 10 years at this point.
She was-
before she really became who she is now, and
Mhm.
so
Interesting. There you go.
I like her old stuff more.
We did it.
Let's be done with it. Let's
I love that for
come
us.
on back next week. We're gonna go on a cruise. There's gonna be
With
tigers.
tigers.
It's gonna be nuts.
Tiger
everybody.
cruise?
Tiger
Okay.
cruise.
Cool.
it's a cruise full of tigers.
It's a cruise full
I
of
have
tigers.
the feeling that's not what it is, and it's something crazy you're not telling me.
Crazier
I mean,
than tigers on a cruise.
No.
It's an
but
animated feature. It's a precursor
it's
to.
animated.
It's a precursor to Life of Pi.
What could be crazier than a
Nope.
movie about
Hey,
tigers
come
on
back,
a cruise?
Come back next week.
Let's find out.
Is it just people named Tiger? Like Tony the Tiger? Hi, I'm Bill Tiger. I'm here for the Tiger Cruise.
I just want
Could be Tiger.
I do
Tiger
want
Scouts.
you to
They
know,
couldn't say Cub
Dan.
Scouts.
I think you will find the fact that this movie was made to be crazier than a movie about tigers on a cruise.
All right, I'm not going to look anything up.
Come on back next week for that. Until then,
Decom all
Decom.
day.
Decom it.
Decom Descendants is a Bramble Jam podcast produced in, that Greenville, the Bramble Jam Podcast Network studios by Brandon Gray. To follow us on the socials, go to @Decom Descendants. To follow us on the web, decompodcast.com. Please leave us a rating and review on the Apple Podcast if it's going to be 5 stars. If not, keep it to yourself, dadgummit.
Is that it? Okay.